Recently, I uploaded a video about why any model of the PSP in general is still popular with modern gamers, especially the emulation community. So as of today, it's by far my most popular video and has earned me the most subscribers of any video as of yet. What's up, new subs? I hope you're happy and well in these crazy times. If you're watching in the future, remember coronavirus? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyways, I recently moved into my first home and have unearthed my first PSP. So I thought now is as good a time as any to become reacquainted. So sit back and relax as we revisit an old friend. My first video was kinda sorta a buying guide and an argument why so many of us still love the PSP well over a decade after it first come out. One of you Weisenheimers even suggested I made the video to sell my hoard of PSPs. You adorable goofball, you. Downright cutie patootie. Nope, no stash of PSPs here, just the PSP-1001 I use regularly and this PSP-1001 I recently unearthed while moving. This is actually my first PSP. I bought it way back in 2007 when I learned about PSP hacking. There, I said it! I said the H word! And Dark Alex was Lord. I scraped together every penny I had and scoured GameStops around the city for a used PSP that was still miraculously at firmware version 1.5. These were the early days of PSP hacking. Back in 2007, if your firmware was above a certain version, hacking was impossible. Downgraders and other solutions would come later. I can't stress enough how OG God tier Dark Alex was to the emulation community. In 2007, we were only just beginning to emerge from our caves to behold Dark Alex's prophecies and miracles. Many came to the river of the early high-speed internet to have their PSP baptized by Dark Alex or just touch his cloak. My story of redemption began, as many have, at the Book of Craigslist to scour the scrolls for whispers of local disciples who could call upon the name of Dark Alex and bless my PSP. I found what I hoped to be a disciple and was granted passage to his land. I gave him my PSP and $100 and prayed he would not turn out to be a Judas. He made me wait outside while he performed the miracle. He emerged with my holy relic of custom firmware and a list of commandments to help me avoid the eternal damnation of bricking it. It was truly a magical time to follow the PSP hacking and emulation scene. Dark Alex and others against Sony in an epic battle. Every day something would change, whether it be a triumphant breakthrough or a disheartening setback. But we persevered. The victories were sweet nectar. It really was one of the best eras in handheld gaming history. A similar battle was being waged in the Nintendo DS universe. So when I found my original PSP-1001, all of it flooded back to me. At some point, I obviously changed the faceplate to fit my favorite color scheme, but everything else is original. The guts are definitely original, and if I'm honest, I'm probably going to replace a lot of it, like the buttons, membranes, thumbstick, etc. The screen I'll keep. The PSP-1000 screen is something I wanted to specifically address, actually. In my previous video, I said, quote, "The screen on the first model, the PSP-1000, is a dim, blurry mess," unquote. Well, this was a bit harsh. While it is definitely ever so slightly dimmer than my PSP-3000, the ghosting and blur isn't nearly as bad as I remembered it to be. The PSP-3000 screen is definitely sharper, crisper, and clearer, but it also has visible scan lines that some people don't prefer. It is also cooler in overall color. The PSP-1000 screen is warmer and is ghostier, but it doesn't have the scan lines, so images look more natural. That said, and I can only speak for myself personally, I still prefer the PSP-3000's screen. I don't notice the scan lines until I remember to look for them. In fast-paced gaming, I definitely prefer the brighter, sharper image of the PSP-3000. I still stand by my recommendation that if you can only choose one PSP, I'd recommend the 2000 or 3000 over any other model, even the PSP Go and Street. Now, the Go is great. The Street is also great. Even the 1000 is great. But like I mentioned in the previous video, I just think the 3000 is the most well-rounded overall, in my opinion. But this video is about my PSP-1001. As I've spent some time with it recently, I'm kind of falling back in love with it. She's a little chonkier than newer models and can't see as well, but we've been through a lot together. Through all the changes in my life over the past 13 years, she's been there. After I broke up with my first serious girlfriend around that time, my journey with PSP hacking and emulation was a welcome comfort and distraction from the soul-crushing heartbreak. Without getting too personal, there has been significant heartache between now and even then. There has also been a lot of joy, of course. So recently I found myself picking up my original PSP 1000 over her newer and improved counterpart. There's history here. There's familiarity here. There's heartbreak and joy here. You know, I think what outsiders often don't realize about people who hold on to and preserve old tech is that it isn't just a fascination with the past to better understand the future. It's that most of us remember exactly where we were, exactly what we were going through, and exactly who we were going through it with when we pick up an old piece of tech. It's more than nostalgia. It's a time machine. To better times, to worse times, to harder times, to simpler times. So, while the PSP 1000 can't give me some of the things the 3000 can, she gives me so much more. My question for you is, in this world of AI, VR, ray tracing, the cloud, Netflix, and smartphones, what do you have collecting dust in the closet that will always mean so much more to you than the newest iPhone? Maybe it's your first iPhone that you just can't get rid of because it still contains the last text from your dad. My PSP 1001 doesn't represent just another PSP. It is my life since 2007. You are worthy of love, both giving and receiving love, and you are also worthy of your own self-worth. So embrace your geek thing, share it with others, and I'll talk to you soon.